In this video, I'm just going to quickly show you about dealing with EQ for vocals. Now, in this one, you'll hear there's a lot of headphone bleed and the low end and stuff. There also is going to be sibilants. I'll show that in a different video about how to maybe deal with the sibilants because that presents different issues. And it's normally something you might choose to do towards the end. There's no hard fast rules. I mean, we could deal with the sibilants next and then apply another EQ, different layers and stuff. But at the moment, I just want to focus on the actual things to listen for when EQing a vocal. So the first thing is if I press play,
Something about you makes me smile, sends me soaring every time.
you'll hear that there's a low end kind of noise and a rumble there. That's from the headphone spillage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the high pass filter and I'm going to make it a 12 dB filter set. And I'm just going to take it up until I start reducing it quite considerably.
Something about you makes me smile, sends me soaring every time. Something about you gets me high, overdosing every time. And I don't know what to do, falling harder every time I look at you.
So once I'm at this point, it's now eating into the vocal. So it's cutting away too much. So I'm going to take this back a bit so I get a sort of a combination of a little bit more body and chest in the voice, but also trying to reduce a lot of that overwhelming sort of bleed in the background.
Something about you makes me smile, sends me soaring every time. Something about you gets me high, overdosing every time.
So somewhere around there is going to be suitable, about 138 hertz. It's not eating into the vocal massively. The other thing I'm going to try and look for is there's a bit of a kind of lower mid kind of mask to a voice. So I'm going to search for that using the Control Shift technique.
Something about you makes me smile, sends me soaring every time. Something about you
There we
gets
go.
me high, overdosing every time. And I don't know what to do.
So this will open up the
Falling
vocal.
harder every time I look at you. Something about you makes me smile,
So
sends me soaring every time. Something about you gets me high, overdosing.
it's a lot more clean and focused. I can bring some of this low end back up if I just increase this here, just to replace in that lower kind of mid, low end sort of side of things, just bring in a bit more of her chest of her voice, in the voice, as it were.
Something about you makes me smile, sends me soaring every time. Something about you gets me high, overdosing every time.
So it just brings that back in. Now I've got to be careful here. If I increase the treble, it's going to increase the sibilance.
Something about you makes me smile.
Unfortunately, it's a byproduct as well of the condenser mic that in certain mics will certainly increase sibilance and artifacts in the recording. So that's something I will deal with in another video, because I think the next step will be looking at compression, about controlling that first and then dealing with the sibilance afterwards, because compression could also help emphasize it. It's a case of messing around and finding out what works for you. So I'm just going to reset that back to where it was. There we go. So it's just a very brief introduction to EQing a vocal and looking to remove the low end mud, and also then just to kind of get rid of some of that nasal kind of woolliness that's in the vocal.